Yeah, I swear this has got to be the craziest story of 2025. Chris Van Hollen is a Democrat senator who decided to take a trip to El Salvador to bring back an active MS-13 gang member that was in the United States illegally, right? And now he's begging to bring him back. And by the way, today, paperwork has already come out that this guy, there was an order of protection against him by his own wife. This guy was a wife beater. This guy was not a good person, and he was in here illegally, and he's actually a citizen of El Salvador, and Democrats are trying their best and spending all their energy and time to go get this guy back. And you're about to this is him literally in El Salvador with the media, and he's having a mental breakdown because El Salvador is not giving the guy back. El Salvador has locked up every criminal possible. That's why I've been to El Salvador. That's why they have the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. When they were literally less than 10 years ago, the murder capital of the world. And now they're the safest because they lock up criminals and gang members. And that's the way they deal with this. And this guy's having a meltdown and he's losing his mind because he's being rejected to get back this criminal because he didn't have his due process. This is what Democrats are spending their time on. It's so wild. Today has been the wildest day. I cannot believe that this guy really took a trip to go get back an MS-13 active gang member. Like, what are we doing? What is happening in the United States of America, man? What is happening here? All right. So this is him talking to the media, melting down about his meeting. And this guy is having a mental breakdown, by the way. Take a listen.
I also told his wife and family that I would try to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia while I was here. So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT. I said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he was not able to make that happen. He said he need a little more time. I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he couldn't promise that either. So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Abrego Garcia. So I could just ask him how he's doing so I could report back to his family. He said he could not arrange that. He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen. So I will certainly ask the American embassy to ask the government of El Salvador to connect us by phone. I asked him how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice? I let him know that the family has requested that. He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen. So we have an unjust situation here.
You know, you can make this is the line that the United States of America's Democrats are trying to cross. None of these criminals have gotten due process in CCOT. They just got locked up. And the country has no crime, little to none. If you look like a gang member, you're going to get locked up. This is the way they run their country. He was here illegally. He was sent back with no due process in the United States of America. And you're trying to get this one guy due process. This is why this is like a crazy line to try to be crossing. And like these people, here's what really bothers me about this. You have this guy, he's having a mental breakdown because he cannot see this guy. And they want to make this guy like the story, the talking point of why Trump is so bad for America. When this is the same reason why a 99 to 95% approval rating for Bukele exists in the first place, because he doesn't play around with criminals, even potential ones. You could call it a dictatorship. You could call it authoritarianism. You could call it whatever you want, but it works. And that's the price that they're paying over there. So the 9-0 ruling that everybody is melting down about. In fact, there's death threats to Donald Trump that he can't do this. What's so sad about this, right? When you have had so many illegal immigrants coming to the United States without a process, right? And it gets mixy, right? We got Tren de Aragua, we got MS-13, we got gang members, we had deaths, we had things that they did in the United States of America when they were here that was bad, that messed it up for every other immigrant that was here looking for an opportunity, right? They followed them in, they got in here, they did bad things. These Democrat senators had no, like, they couldn't even stand for a kid that was 13 years old with brain cancer. They had no energy for Laken Riley. Like, just Laken Riley is one name, but there's many more. But Laken Riley specifically, they did not have that same energy. They didn't have mental breakdowns to fix the system that even allowed this to even happen. So again, this is a show to me. This is not real. This guy's having a meltdown for absolutely no reason. And they're insinuating now that the guy's not even alive. That's what they're insinuating now. They're insinuating that this guy is not alive, that this guy belongs back in the United States of America. And I think that that's just a crazy argument. There's more. There's more. There's more. I do want to play this clip.
Where, by the way, I love if the Democrats want to make this their argument for the midterms going to 2026. Please make illegal aliens and support for MS-13. Mike, please go tell all your buddies on the Democrat side. I would love for you to make this your argument going in, that we need more illegal aliens in the country. I'm right there with you, because I think that's perfect for the Democrats. They consistently do this over and over and over. And, you know, people say that this guy doesn't have a criminal record. Well, it just broke earlier today that, as a matter of fact, Abrego Garcia did actually have, his wife had a restraining order on him that was filed in 2021, that it was petitioned, a final order was put up. And yet I don't hear anyone talking about this, that in fact he was a wife beater, in addition to this information that he was a member of MS-13. And people will sit there blue in the face and say, oh, he was this innocent guy, he was just working. It's simply not true.
Right, but you're saying it's simply not true. You believe 100% he was an MS-13 gang member. My concern about this story is not that if he is a gang member,
the order that he was
gang,
deported was not that he was MS-13 member. It was that he was illegal. That was the original order. And then the second order came out that said he was deported to a different country, not El Salvador.
So hold on for just a second. First of all, Jack, great to meet you. Longtime fan. Like, you are one of the internet's biggest conspiracy theorists, and I'm very glad to be on this panel with you, so I could just call you out for that. But like everything, how was
your Kamala Harris campaign last year? How did that go? Did that go as well as your weight loss, Mike? How are you still like this when there's still Ozempic? How are you still like this when Ozempic exists, Mike?
Jack, hang on, let me talk for a second.
Mike, how many steps are you up to today? No, if you're going to come out here and attack me personally, then I'm going to respond right back.
Okay, that took a turn. That was crazy. Jack was so big. I'm actually not a huge fan of Jack, can't lie. But man, like, he cooked here. And again, like, there's just more. Like, this is just not the best look.
First of all, I'm more than happy to hear the congressman say they're all going to El Salvador. I think for Republicans, this just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving illegal aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that Democrats feel comes on all these issues that are fundamentally not where the American people are.
Congressman, one second. Congressman, can I give you the chance to respond to that?
Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's Donald Trump that's actually losing the support of the American people. Donald Trump's not focused on lowering the costs of housing, not focused on lowering the price of goods. He's out there deporting people that have legal status to be here, revoking student visas from students that are contributing to this country.
He doesn't have legal status to be here, Congressman. He has a deportation order. You're going to go to El Salvador. You're going to go maybe go to the grocery store. Like, there's an issue here where you could possibly win on, but you're going to El Salvador instead.
It's okay that someone walking into getting their citizenship, walking into their citizenship test, their citizenship meeting, is being apprehended on the way into their next process, which just happened to somebody in Vermont, and it's happening now across the country. Students are being deported and revoked of their student visas.
Yes.
Many are not being told why that's the case. That should not be happening in the United States. And certainly, someone shouldn't be deported and being left in a prison in a foreign country when the Supreme Court says it should be returned back. And so those are the questions. And by the way, as Democrats and as a Congress and a government, we should be able to do multiple things at the same time. We should be able to take on billionaires who are raiding the government. We should be able to take on Elon Musk, who has no business being in charge of Doge. And yes, protecting the civil rights and human rights of people that are in.
This is why, Robert Garcia, this is why you're losing. I'm going to show you why you're losing. I'm going to show you why you're going to have a very hard time. Earlier today, Patty Morin delivers a message to Chris Van Hollen, to the senator from Maryland who barely acknowledged my daughter. Fly to El Salvador, bring her. This is Rachel Morin's mother, right? Rachel Morin, who is a victim of the illegal immigrants in America. This is why wherever you come from, if something happens in the country that you have been raised in, or your ancestors are from, or you're like a second generation, first generation immigrant, but you have lived in the United States your whole life, right? It's like, I just don't, it's so hard for me to understand why people don't get this exact point. Like, Democrats really have a hard time understanding that this is the way people want things run. They want to be tough on crime. They want to live good. They don't want crime. They don't want violence in the streets. They just don't. The people don't want that. And like, bro, like Venezuela doesn't even want it. Mexico, well, at this point, I don't know about Mexico because cartels have huge interest there, but you get where I'm going with this, right? Like, countries don't want these guys because they fuck up the country with crime and doing crazy. Like, it's not that hard. Like, we already have gang members here that in America we already have to deal with. And that's even hard to deal with. And you want us to deal with, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But here's Rachel Morin's mother, Patty Morin, message to the media. This is like, they never, if they was to have the same energy, I would believe the Democrats, if they had the same energy that they have for going to El Salvador and bringing this guy back, if they had the same energy with Rachel Morin's mother, with Ngari's mother, with Lake and Riley's mother, like, if they had that same energy where they would be with them, they will talk to them, they will be out loud about it, but they're not. They're like, they choose not to. And that's why you're losing very badly.
To have a senator from Maryland who didn't even acknowledge or barely acknowledge my daughter and the brutal death that she endured, leaving her 5 children without a mother and now a grandbaby without a grandmother, so that he can use my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to bring back someone that's not even an American citizen. Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter, or my grandchildren? I don't understand this. To have a senator.
Yeah, Chris Van Hollen. Yeah, I mean, it just leaves you speechless. Like, this, it's all theatrics. It really is all theatrics at this point. I don't get it, bro. I don't know what these guys are thinking. I really don't get it. I'm so confused by this. Like, if you were to make an argument about you don't want the United States to be run like El Salvador, I respect that. Okay, I understand that. But the arguments aren't even that. The arguments are solely focused on just this one guy, right? And you have skipped so many, like, Democrats have skipped so many, like, points, moments, to where them going and fighting for this guy would be credible. But because they have skipped so many points and time where illegal immigrants who are gang members like did bad things here and they never spoke up about it or had the same energy, that's why you're not credible. You can't be, because you never were against this in the first place. It's actually embarrassing. It really is embarrassing.